I mean, I'm pretty sure that there would be, they would probably be less focus on her reproductive abilities. Pretty sure. It would be less of an obsession. And I think probably early on, she probably would have been positioned a little bit differently in conversation and you know, I think on the one hand, as we can see from all of the fans and the impact that she did have, and she, you know, regardless, is and remains a feminist icon. I think that there are a few areas where, given the facts, that maybe it falls a bit short of that, or it feels like she doesn't live up to the potential of what that could be.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Nancy. My question is for the second to last episode in season 11, so the last season. When Mulder and Scully were in the church together, what did Scully whisper to Mulder?
Never. Set my dick.
I think you just heard what a real feminist icon is.
Those were both correct answers. Yeah. Well, I guess this sort of...
She didn't say anything. The truth is, she didn't really say anything. She just kind of moved her... He didn't really say any words. He was just kind of gumming around. You didn't say anything at all.
Well, no, but I think at some point it was like, what am I saying? Does anybody know what I'm meant to be saying? Is there something that we're not getting? What would I
There was nothing written.
If I were to say something, what would it be?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
what's the ending of the series?
What was the
Does it have to do with the ending of the series?
We didn't really know. Oh, that's what
For a series to have like lasted that long and had such an impact, obviously there's always going to be gripes and certain people, you're going to be upset about certain storylines and certain changes, but I think what's so fantastic about your portrayal of these two characters was how you really embodied them and made them these strong individuals, and we can have these individual moments, you know what I mean, in these individual episodes that will last forever, and we can have our, gripes on the overall arc and everything and where it's going, and we can be upset if it's not coming back, but the impact that you created in both the sci-fi world and then just as performers and actors is the reason we're all here today. So we thank you for that, despite all the, despite all the Hollywood business, you know what I mean? Hey.
Hi, I'm a huge fan of both of yours. I love The Fall, I love the Californication, but the X-Files was always my happy place, And I think a lot of that had to do with your chemistry together as actors. And now that the X-Files is over, do you think you guys might ever appear on screen ever again? Together? You know what I mean.
This is what he's saying, this might be it, so get it now, yeah.
It's impossible to say. We don't know.
It would be funny for us to do like a Thin Man type comedy type thing.
Oh.
It would be tough, right? I mean, not that you guys couldn't do it, but because we see you as these two characters, iconic characters.
It's very hard.
Yeah, if it was anything but X-Files, it would be tough to remove ourselves from it. So it would be interesting if it was a fun play or on the characters themselves.
Well, we had talked for a while about how fun it would be to actually do a proper spoof feature of the X-Files in an airplane type kind of. We had a couple of conversations.
There's there's a couple episodes that come close. Some of those funny episodes we talked to were spoofs in and of themselves, you know, and so we got to see a little bit of that already, which was nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey.
Hi, thanks for being here. Welcome home. You worked with William B. Davis, who's also a very well-respected teacher of theater and acting. Have you two ever thought about teaching or directing more? I mean, I know you're both novelists, so you're creative that way, but have you thought about teaching or directing theater more?
I've never thought about teaching. I don't think I'd be a particularly good teacher. I have thought about directing, but it feels like something I want to do later on if I start getting less work as an actor. Then I might probably will head in that direction. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't thought of teaching. No, I've never really thought. But you know, I guess directing encompasses that a little bit. But no, I haven't thought of that. Yeah.
You make a good teacher.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hank was.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Kind of. We didn't say he was good.
What would he teach?
Sex education.
It's so funny, I'm doing a series called Sex.
I know.
You can come on as a teacher. Come to the high school and be a teacher. The name of the show is Sex Education.
Good segue.
Flattered her.
Wow.
David, tell us about sort of the, I mean, you got to direct some episodes of X-Files, which was awesome, and then you have directed some amazing films as well. Do you get a different sort of, yeah. Do you get a different sort of rise, if you will, you know, out of directing or something? Yeah. And what excites you about that, different from acting?
That you don't have to go to hair and makeup before you go to work. It's really nice. It's just, acting is kind of lonely because it's like you're in charge of your job and that's the only job that you're really involved in. And when you're directing, you're kind of collaborating with everyone else and you're not in charge of their job, but I see it as hiring people to do their jobs way better than you could ever do them. And you get to ask people to do great work and just enable them to do it, create a situation on the set where they can. And I like that feeling. It's a lot less lonely than acting, I think, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, totally, completely.
It's interesting because acting is meant to be collaboratory in a way, but very often, and every job is different, but you kind of need to prepare enough that you could go on and be your own director, because most of the time you're directing yourself. You know, I've had more experiences where that's been the case than when I've been able to rely on a director to have more of a collaboratory experience. So, yeah.
Especially in TV, right, where there's different directors every episode, different writers every episode. They're coming in, like you said, to sort of just steer the ship, you know, and you're there to really make it happen. What about the cast, though? I mean, you know, we know you guys have great chemistry, and I know that was a question. It did feel like you guys were all very connected, you know, with Mitch and, you know, everyone else in the cast. Or did it feel like you're describing a little more, you know, you were alone and kind of preparing and then coming in and really the magic happened on stage? Was there a lot just performing, or was there a connection outside of that as well with the cast of X-Files?
Well, maybe I don't know if I express myself by saying it's lonely. I don't mean alone. I just mean you're kind of concerned with what you're doing, and mostly that only. So it's just self-oriented, like in your job there.
Yeah.
Obviously you collaborate with other actors when you're working with them. But yeah, we were together a long time, so we I think everybody kind of grew very fond of one another, or you know, reliant on one another in a way over the years.
And also, in the way that we were working, there's no time to be social with each other.
Right.
There just isn't. And the time that you do have, you kind of don't want to see the people that you've been working with all week. You know, you want a break or to spend time with your children or your other life.
Hang out with some other show.
Yeah. You cross lots over the other side.
You are bright.
Yeah, it's got a very nice yellow shirt on.
Julian, do you think there are any Scully influences on Hannibal? And for David, do you ever meet Bree Sharp?
I've been asked that a couple times a day, oddly, about whether there were influence, and that's kind of the point of what I try to do, is to make sure that there isn't crossover between characters, and I work quite hard at finding the differences in order for that to be the case. So, let's say no?
Oh yeah, I met Bree. Yeah.
Did she really love you? That's a gentleman.
Thank you. Hey.
Hi, I'm huge fans of both of yours. Gillian, you are like a living queen. And David, I love you. You both are just huge influences on me, so thank you for all you do. My question is, how are you both similar to your characters, Scully and Mulder, and how is your relationship in real life similar to Scully and Mulder's, if at all?
Jill, you mentioned a second ago about trying to separate, the different characters themselves. But naturally, as an actor, you're going to bring some stuff from yourself.
This is the point. Those questions are really tough because, to be honest with you, as an actor, it's your magic trick what you do, and it's not magic. So, if you give away the magic trick, then there's no more magic. So. Try not to answer or even deal or even think deeply about a question of how I'm the same as the character that I'm playing, because it would just really depress me to actually go into that, if you know what I mean. The other part of your question is just real personal, and I wouldn't answer that. Right?
Well, I think she's talking about our relationship,
I know.
but, oh, okay.
You want to answer that? If you'd like to answer, go ahead.
Well, we don't sleep in the same bed. Although I'm not quite sure they do either.
Well, I don't know about that. What kind of bed do you sleep in?
Good wordplay, good wordplay. It must get frustrating sometimes, right? To be these characters, not only seeing these characters, because obviously other great works, but to have people come up always and want you to be these people that we see on the TV screen and be the same way in real life. Does it get frustrating, you know what I mean, hearing...
I haven't had that experience. I don't...
Which is great.
I don't tend to run into people who want me to be a character. I don't think.
Yeah, which is great and nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it's more love and support. It's coming from a place of, love and support, not sort of just annoyance, if you will. Yeah. Awesome. Hey.
Thank you. Hi. So as season 11 showed us, Mulder and Scully are in fact having sex. So I was wondering, who tops?
Hang on a second.
I'm just wondering.
I know, but does that even exist in the heterosexual world?
It absolutely does. It can
Does
exist
it?
anywhere. Yeah.
Well, because most of the time you're flipping each other around, whereas, right? Whereas it's different in the gay and lesbian community.
So I'll rephrase it then. Who has control when they have sex?
Boundaries.
I will be answering these questions. But I don't think I need to answer the question.
Yes.
We know the answer.
All right, no more fan fiction, guys. Come on. About their careers, about everything. Let's go. Next up. What's up?
David Gillian. I'll be making my own small screen debut here in a couple months. What I wanted to ask was, well, first of all, I wanted to thank Gillian, you and Chris Carter for the portrayal of Scully's Christian background, because when she was going to confession, that was kind of like God reaching out to me, telling me I needed to go to confession, so I did. And I wouldn't have gotten this part that I was in if I hadn't gotten my priorities in order in my life. My question is, did you have any apprehension, any reservations about that aspect of being a Scully, or challenges or interest in that?
My belief system has always tended less towards religion and more towards what is most commonly referred to as a sense of spirituality, or a connection between all things in the universe, etc., etc., etc. So it's always been a foreign thing for me, and my involvement with it at the time was trying to understand, for her sake and for Chris's sake, why that was so. What these things that he was talking about actually meant, because I didn't have that upbringing and it wasn't part of my own experience. So it became important to me insofar as making it truthful for her. But I can't say that her faith necessarily had a direct impact on my faith, of which there is, but it's a different faith. It's, you know.
Well, thanks to you and Chris Carter for not being afraid to show that in the where it's not seen as too popular.
Cool.
Thank you, Gillian, and I know David as well, but for all the work you do in acceptance groups, you know what I mean, and charities out there. It's always nice, you know, when someone, you know, of your guys' stature can give back to the community. So we always thank you for that as well. Yeah. Okay.
Hi. So my question is for the both of you. Was there a moment over the last 25 years, or even just over the last couple of years during the revival, where when you were filming the scene opposite each other, in that moment, either that or maybe when you were rewatching the dailies, where you just thought to yourself, damn, Gillian really killed that scene, or wow, David just freaking slayed. Like, was there ever a moment where the two of you just kind of were in awe of each other's ability as actors?
Sure.
And if you can remember specifics.
Sure. I do remember at one point during, you know, specifically during this last stretch, I guess during this last season, where I remember thinking in my own mind how good David was, and I couldn't tell you what episode that was or what scene it was, but I do recall having.
I think it was, there was a scene that I wasn't in, which was when Gillian is talking to William as a corpse, or she thinks he's a corpse. She thinks he's dead. And so I come in at the very tail end of that scene, and as an actor, I wasn't there for her work either. So I didn't see it until the show aired. So that was really fun for me as somebody just watching, because normally I see, you know, I've seen everything she's done. You know, I can't be surprised because I may be impressed, but I'm not going to be surprised because I've seen it. So that was a nice surprise for me to say, oh my God, I didn't even. I was like, usually I saw her. You know, she had this long monologue. I didn't even read it. Like, where's my next line? It's like, ooh, day off, day off, day off. So it was that.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much. Hey.
Hi, I was wondering, out of all the episodes that you've done, is there anyone that really scared you or bothered you when you got done taping it?
You know, Donnie fucking Faster.
That's just the performance. Nick Chinlund, he did amazing.
Well, it was just creepy. I mean, interestingly, there was a lot of similarity between that episode and what he did to women that the Spectre did in the fall. But it was very creepy. It was really creepy because it was the bathing and the nails and the.
Yeah, the bathing.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. That is creepy.
Do you even know what I'm talking about?
What?
Do you know what I'm referring to?
In which?
Let's move on.
Where?
Oh, the serial killer bathing the dead women and cleaning them. Did you know that that's what I was talking about?
In the X-Files.
Yeah.
In the X-Files. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Okay. That's so weird.
the only episode he's watched was that last one with your beautiful scene in it, obviously. Do you reflect a lot back on your work, you know, or do you not like to do that? Do you like, you know, watching it in the moment to sort of make changes or, you know, new decisions on your character, or is it something you kind of let go for a little while once filming's done and then come back to later just to enjoy?
I mean, are you talking specific to the X-Files?
Yeah, no, I think it works in general.
I mean, there's plenty of times where I think, oh man, I can't believe I didn't take that into consideration in the scene, or I forgot that I knew that, that happens all the time.
Yeah, especially again with TV, with all the sort of changes happening moment to moment.
But also not only that, but you know, so often you're shooting completely out of sequence. Yeah. You know, in the last season of The Fall, whereas the first couple seasons it was pretty chronological, and the last season it was all over the place. It was, and that's 6 hours, 6 full hours, not 42-minute hour, but 6 full hours. You know, mixed match. So you're doing the first episode, or the last episode on the first day, and you know, that's hard to, you know, stay sane through and feel like that you're getting the through line right.
Awesome. Hey, we have time for just a couple more questions, guys.
Hi, my name is Josh, and I am from Kenosha, Wisconsin. I have parents who really enjoy loving your guys' show, and they really love you guys. So I have a couple of questions that I thought maybe would. How well did you think that the show changed you from your real and TV show-wise perspectives?
You mean as a person, my perspective on the world or on alien life and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, both.
I don't think it changed my perspective on alien life or any of this or any of the paranormal or anything like that. I think we used to say when we used to talk at things like this that I was more like Scully, and they said, no, you were more like Mulder, and I'm more like Scully.
Correct.
So I'm not sure that that's changed at all, but yeah, no, I don't think I've changed my perspective on it.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey.
Hi. I just first off want to say that you're both so incredibly talented across all media platforms. But my question for you guys is, what's your favorite role that the other person has portrayed besides Mulder and Scully?
I would probably say Hank.
And I would say The Fall. I dug it.
One of my favorite is the hand model from Zoolander. I love Great cameo. Well,
Did you say Great Daddy-O?
Great cameo. Yeah. That would have been.
Bring back Daddy-O.
Great Daddy-O.
Swing it.
Unfortunately, we're out of time, but